There had been a suspicious fire on Whisperwood Lane, and the insurance company wanted our investigative agency to check it for signs of arson. J.D. was late getting back, and I was beginning to worry. I'd already locked up for the day, but there was a knock at the door. I unlocked it and let the woman in. She told me that our detective agency had been highly recommended and she needed our help. I knew J.D. would be back shortly, so I told her to take a seat. I thought about offering her some tea, but at that moment, J.D. came in. He handed me his notebook so I could type a report for the insurance company. Cookie, he offered the client. She took a cookie and then told J.D. that she lived on Whisperwood Lane. 2 days ago, her house had burned to the ground. She wanted J.D. to find out how the fire started, and, if it was arson, to find out who did it. I knew that J.D. was wondering the same thing I was. Did this fire have any connection to the other one? J.D. told the woman, "We'll take your case." The client gave a huge sigh of relief and took a bite of the cookie. Oh. After the incident, I gave her a big hug. We received a tip that known arsonist Tammy the Torch had been seen on Whisperwood Lane. We went to investigate. We found Tammy setting fire to the curtains. The torch wouldn't be setting any fires in the future. Maybe the Whisperwood arson case was solved. But 2 days later, there was another fire.
Good evening. We begin tonight in Nanaimo, where fire investigators are worried they may have an arsonist on their hands. For the second time in a week, there is another building that has gone up in flames.
J.D. drew a diagram so we could study the relationship of the fires. All of the fires were within a short distance of each other. J.D. was searching the previous fire locations, gathering samples of burnt materials that we could analyze to see if the fires had been set by an arsonist. While J.D. was collecting evidence, I checked the mail. The detective's fire testing kit I ordered had just arrived. I carefully opened the package. Just what we needed. When J.D. returned, we carried the evidence outside. We inspected the contents. The first test was for lighter fluid, what Tammy the Torch had used. The foaming indicated a positive reaction. However, the fire accelerant test was negative for the others. They appeared to be electrical in nature. That afternoon, I went to question people about suspicious activity in the Whisperwood area. Lucas Moncrief was in the plaza feeding pigeons. He barely glanced my way. Sammy the source was at his usual corner. "What's happening, Sammy?" Sammy's information was not free. He said that word on the street was that one of the homeowners on Whisperwood Lane had hired Tammy the Torch to burn down their house so they could collect the insurance. I was skipping along through the park when I saw Mr. Stiflemore. I turned on the charm. People will tell dogs anything if they wag their tail. Stiflemore said there was an abandoned house on Whisperwood Lane where he'd seen suspicious activity. I went to check it out. The house was empty, all right. I went up to the second floor. Is that smoke I smell? Maybe I could put these fires out. I better get out of here. But how? How was I to know that the fire department would be practicing their firefighting skills here today? J.D. was sure that the arsonist would strike again. According to his calculations, he determined that 17 Whisperwood Lane would be next. Our video camera had been trained on the house for over an hour before we saw anything suspicious. Did you see that spark, J.D.? All good detectives have 911 on speed dial. We checked our camera. We had the proof we needed. J.D. told the client, "We now know that the arsonist lives on Whisperwood Lane." "But that's where I live," she gulped. Then J.D. showed her the video of the real arsonist. "That's who set your fire," he said. The client was happy she had been absolved of arson. Some clients get so emotional. We were happy she hadn't sued us for the choking incident. And the squirrel will be happy as soon as he is released, far from Whisperwood Lane. Another case solved.